All right. Aloha.
Aloha.
I've got another question for you.
Mhm.
Uh, Today, I was thinking that anytime I learn a foreign language, the first words I learn are thank you in the foreign language. I speak a handful of them. And I also saw online today a fellow who had a video of his gratitude practice. So thanks and giving gratitude. His whole gratitude practice was just saying thank you. Whether I'm sitting here at the table looking into the camera, thank you for this experience. Whether my foot just ached and I got to take my shoe off, thank you for this experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And at the same time, because thank you is a big part of my life, I know that, or at least I've read, that Native Americans did not have the word thank you. It was not expected of the Native Americans to thank each other. I know when I used to say to my dad, thank you, he'd say that's not necessary, which seems to be mirroring the Native American ideology of not needing to say thank you. So there's a little bit of a conundrum for me since less people are paying attention to gratitude and being thankful and saying thank you. We teach our children to say please and thank you. What is it? What's with thanks, giving thanks, or being thankful, or saying thank you that the Native Americans didn't have in their culture? And I'd like your opinion on that. What's Since we're all wanting to be the best we's we can be, best version of we that we are. We don't want to get into duality, good and bad and worse. What is it?
For the Native American,
Yeah.
not saying thank you, it's because they're grateful for their essence being in conjunction with Great Spirit, whose spirit is in everything that they see. So there's nothing to be say thank you to because they're thankful for. White people, Caucasians, Europeans, were taught thank you, to say thank you, and you're welcome, and pardon me, excuse me, because we viewed everything through our pseudo Christian, Judeo Islamic ideas about judgment. So when someone says I'm sorry, or I'm thank you,
Or please, even.
or please,
Please give me something. May
yeah,
I please?
they're expressing something that they were taught is proper behavior. Like we were talking earlier today about in England,
Uh-huh.
that the women, doesn't necessarily apply to the men, but the women, before they can leave the palace, have got to have their hair combed and shiny.
This was, the royal, I would come across a list of the royal guidelines or laws actually that take place in the palace. No eating shellfish, for example, because they might get a stomach virus, and
But
the
they'll eat
royal
pork chops.
palace doesn't want people to be in public with a stomach issue. So, the one was that your hair is to be slick, not curly, not wavy. We got into this morning, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all these judgments, all these man-made rules and regulations that Native Americans just don't have. In fact, the Inuits don't have it. Most indigenous peoples don't have it. The tribes in Africa don't have words for thank you and you're welcome. It's understood that if I'm doing something for you, that you're grateful for it. It's understood that if you're doing something for me, I'm grateful for it. We don't have to express it through words when we can express it through being one with one another and appreciation for what we're doing for each other. And that's basically the difference between Native American or most indigenous peoples' idea about their surroundings, what they're co-creating as their environment through the relationship that they feel within themselves, as opposed to what we as Caucasians, white men and women.
So how about in relation to divine? Since we are all divine,
Mm-hmm.
is there a sense of gratitude for being divine, being here, having this experience? Is gratitude, thanksgiving part of the paradigm?
It can be if you want it to be.
You don't get any extra brownie points.
There's no... Realizing one is divine is realizing that if you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you're all one,
Mm-hmm.
then everything else is also. What's there to be grateful for? You're to make verbal, egotistical recognition because somehow you don't really believe you are, so you have to recognize it and express it through words and politeness and all these pseudo ideas about everything. When the reality is, if I'm divine, I don't have to pray, I don't have to worship, I don't have to do anything.
Give thanks.
Give thanks. It's outside my experience because my experience is full of gratitude, is thankful, is unconditional love, is the divine one, always, always, unconditionally.
So if it assists people in enjoying their life to look at a beautiful day like the one we're having here and say, oh, thank goodness, or
thank
I
God.
feel so blessed.
Or thank
I feel
God,
so
or
blessed.
anything. Yeah, well, so what? So that's what you feel.
But if you want to look at it and cuss and say, and that's enjoyable, the idea is to enjoy your life.
Well, even if you cuss and you say, God, thank you for such a gorgeous fucking day. What's wrong? It's the same thing.
Well, we might as well give the folks a fucking aloha. Do you think that we got our point across? Fucking aloha.
Yeah, aloha. Have a good fuck.
Oh.